All right, guys. Are we halfway through the season? Thank you. What we watch. Are we halfway through the season already? I think we are. David, come on up and chit chat. Tej, come on up. Dr. Salesman, it's good to see you. Honestly, Olivia Cook is acting down. We're invested. Emma Darcy's acting down. We honestly, at this point, should learn the rest of the cast because they are all acting down. But I owe everyone a recap. And did I freeze? I can't. Not everyone can hear. Not everyone. I'm not as good as the recap as Tej, but he asked me to do it. So, all I know is that we got Olivia Cook at the council trying to, empower herself through pussy power, which generally works. But if you recall, I told you guys she's not hot enough to be doing this kind of stuff. She's not sexy enough to move the way she does. And so she's suffering the consequences. And that's what happens when you do things like this. You suffer the consequences. So our young boy Jace went out with a dragon to make sure he could solidify and secure some Team Black alliances, some Team Black support, some Team Black geographical strategic stuff. So people are like, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere with Team Black. Aegon is, One-Eyed Aemond is successful to an extent. I mean, it took him 15 minutes after his brother was burnt to a crisp by his own dragon to kind of see, operate as king in the interim, which the interim is probably, more so indefinite and more so permanent. But I do think that this was a really great episode because we also, quiet subplots and stuff like that. We got to see the family that's super, the family that Hugh and his wife and his daughter, that initially, if you remember, they went to Aegon the Magnanimous and asked him for some aid in their, their production and stuff. And, Otto Hightower talked Aegon down from helping them. And now we're seeing the kind of effects that Aegon and his decisions and Otto have had on, the people. So that's been super exciting too. And I think I covered everything. Tej, did I miss anything? I feel like those are the big points. Really, that Olivia Cook is acting down, which is why I hate Alicent. And I've been telling y'all this. I've been telling y'all there's nothing to support about her. She's not that girl. And you need to remember when you're not that girl. And that, I was right. Like, look at this episode. She thought she could make some changes, and she thought she could influence. She thought showing her feet to one man and popping her, her pussy for another man would work in the way that she thought. And, but, on the other side, on the flip side, Rhaenyra's going through that too, not for the same reasons. Although y'all did try to challenge my girl from jump because of how she moved, and now Alicent's moving the same way. That's what you get, Alicent. But Rhaenyra is yo, and I like that we finally got to see her emotions, right? We were doing so much war ready, so much strategy, and challenging of the king and the queen. Now both that have that everybody's fighting for are suffering in their own ways. One is burnt, like a burnt toaster strudel. And the other one is actually no one respects me. Rhaenyra is actually no one respects me. My son has done the most efficient work. Daemon, let's not get started on Daemon this episode. I can't. Please, someone else talk about Daemon, because I can't. David, I know that's your boy. Go ahead and take it over. Happy What We Watch Wednesday. Please talk to us about Daemon. What's going on with that guy? What is he doing? David, go ahead. You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. You cannot ask me that question. I have no ability to talk about Daemon in any way that isn't complimentary, because he's a fuck up, and he's my kind of fuck up. I mean, even when he's doing stupid shit like chopping wood for no apparent reason, it's still hilarious to me. Like, I really have, again, no ability here to be conscientiously.
Truly though, why is your man's chopping wood while he's sending people to chop up babies? What's going on? Why is he doing that? I don't understand.
I think Damien, though, for real, has like a wish to want to like prove himself. Yeah, and there's clearly. I think you got the whole. There, I said before that I think this year's Game of Thrones is doing a much better job. As much as the previous one wanted to comment on how tough a world it is for women and how men act, it seemed to only be able to do that through violence. That's the only way they seem to understand how to point that out. Whereas this season has really shown all the small and miniature ways that women have to deal with men's inability sometimes when they can't get shit done, or when they just don't have the skills that their mates have, or any other number of reasons how they start acting. And he is one of them. And everywhere he goes, some other woman or somebody else runs into, oh, Damon doesn't really have any clue what he's doing, but he needs to feel like he's doing something, so he's chopping wood now.
Okay, Tej, how do you feel about Damon? Because I'm not. I'm not. He's embarrassing us.
I feel that he's a sicko, and what he did in that dream, only a sicko would have a dream like that.
Oh God, the dream. See, I tried to put it out of my memory. HDEIIC. I saw you unmute for a sec. Go ahead and tap in. Let me know. What you got to say about Damon?
Damon's on an acid trip right now. I don't know if it's like acid shrooms, um, but um,
Keith, I didn't know
how
that.
that last
I didn't
how
know.
that last one went. He is a sick motherfucker. Like we could talk about Oedipus complex, whatever, but yeah, that was a bit much. That's a sick
Well,
motherfucker.
that was yeah, that was way more than a bit much. But this is what Rhaenyra was talking about. What episode 2 or 3? Like Damon, what did he say to that jigsaw girl? He was like, I mean, this was what's supposed to be. Like, what is, I can't remember the exact words, but essentially he was insinuating that, like, I'm supposed to be up there. I got this. Somebody's got to do something to make sure where I belong, remains. And that's what Rhaenyra was saying. So I'm glad that we're no longer pretending and, like, keeping it, to the audience to guess and assume or see if like they're on Damon's side or on Rhaenyra's side. Like Rhaenyra's been right about how her husbandcle feels about her. So is that her uncle slash husband? It is, right?
It is, but at the same time, going back to the previous episode, Damon hasn't actually been wrong yet as far as how to approach this battle. So it's it's this
Yeah. Okay.
real like
I have a problem with people saying this, and I'm sure you and David could speak to it. But here, how to approach this battle. Okay. When you say he's not wrong, has he made any valiant efforts? Or are you saying his efforts are always trumped and like, are they always like, I don't, what is he right about? And if he was so right, why hasn't he implemented it? And who has really stopped him? Because he chose to go to Harrenhal and he is currently failing.
Can I answer that question?
Of course, of course. Who's that? Nap Escobar. Hi.
Oh, good afternoon. All right. So HDEIIC, he says that Damon's been right. I think and I agree with that wholeheartedly because Vhagar is the largest dragon in the world at this moment, and he told he told Rhaenys that it should be him and her to go fight Vhagar because one, Caraxes is the third largest dragon, and Melees was the second largest. Combined, those two would have easily dispatched Vhagar when Damon suggested it. They should have gone with that strategy. Now,
Why didn't he go?
because Melees refused, Rhaenys refused. if both, because we watched the battles at Rook's Rest,
Right.
Melis was able to pretty much incapacitate Sunfire and
Incapacitated.
almost single handedly beat Vega as well. Imagine if it was Caraxes and Melis, it would have been no contest. Now, I don't think he's failing in Harrenhal because the River Lords, they believe in the old gods, not the seven, and they've been fighting for thousands of years.
Right.
I think it's a bit weird how they're going about his character in
Yeah.
Harrenhal because in the books, it's nothing like this. So, like, the dreams of him and his mother. I think that was a bit much for like TV. I was appalled watching that. I'm like, I've read this book 3 times. This doesn't happen, but that that screenwriter, that whatever, that's their choice. Creative
Right.
differences, so whatever. But I think they're butchering his character, like in Harrenhal, because
Honestly,
he
that's
is
where.
very faithful to Rhaenyra. He loves his kids. Like in the book, he never once like did any of like put his hands on her, anything like that, or challenged her claim for the throne. Even in the book, if you read the books, he has always wanted his family side to have the throne. In the books, he was the one who like mustered up the largest force to put Viserys on the throne and to challenge the Valarians. So I think they're
So
butchering it a
usually,
bit, but it's. I mean, like I think the adaptation's good, but his
so
character
usually
is.
I get into people when they start talking about the book, the book, the book. But I like what you're talking about right now because this is really about television. But I like what you're saying because it makes sense to me. I have not read the books, but I'm glad that you're bringing up the books because Damon, I have a serious problem with how much people like him, and maybe they have some sort of understanding of him from the book. But I'm glad you're saying what you're saying, that maybe he was butchered from this adaptation because it definitely feels like it. I don't Damon being right about a thing but not being forceful in those things doesn't make sense to me. And he
But
hasn't successfully done anything yet that is helpful to the cause yet. So, sure, he's laying foundations.
so
But
Harren,
like, how long are you gonna lay foundations? You know, I mean, okay. So like, I don't know. I think we gas. I think everyone, because again, most people agree with you. I think everyone gasses Damon way too much, and I'm sure that I'm almost certain now, based on what you're saying, I can only go by what you're saying. I'm almost certain that I would love the Damon in the book version way more because I'm sure he's a little bit more assertive and less. I mean, for lack of a better term, weird. Like he's just so weird. But go ahead, and then
but
I'll
yeah,
let
so yeah,
I'll
the
let
like
Southern
the
talk.
television adaptation. It's a bit, but like okay, since we're speaking strictly on the television,
Yeah.
like the hallucinations in Harrenhal. So like Harrenhal's been cursed for like 150 years, and then so with his like interactions with Alice Rivers, who ends up becoming like his downfall because well, you guys will see later on. Um, I just don't like how everyone's saying he's failing because it takes a lot of effort. Like the Riverlands are huge. Like you
Mhm.
got to Rhaenyra needs a standing army, and he Jace went to the Freys at the Twins. He got them on their side, which is good. That's great.
It's great.
But there are far more houses in the Riverlands than like anywhere else, and you need someone who they will listen to. And you kind of need to use some violence. Maybe
I
like,
hear, I
hey,
hear you, and I
you
have and I have
you don't
something
bend
to
knees
say to
without
that.
breaking skulls.
I hear you. I hear you. I think my view of failure might be a little bit different, which is fair. I'm not going to speak for everyone else calling him a failure. I know what I mean by failure, but let's come back to that. Let's let Southern talk because I want to come back to that. I appreciate you introducing that. Go ahead, Southern. I don't know the next part.
It's Southern Coastal Elite.
Okay, perfect. Hi, welcome.
He's
Talk to me.
failing. He's failing because men can't talk to him. If you notice, all of these dreams are women. He doesn't know what his mother looks like. He's only been told stories. She died when he was 3 or 4. That's why he is having sex with her. He doesn't know that's his mother until the very end. He's failing because he's not talking to his queen.
I agree.
He's doing all of this on his own.
I agree.
Bela was like, Jace, don't even do this. That's my father.
Okay.
That's why Jace went to the twins.
I agree. I think he's failing for that same reason. You're not failing because you have a good idea. I mean, we could all think of some good ideas. You're failing because you're not communicating your ideas effectively to like timely and appropriately and actively apply them. Like you're failing because no one knows what the fuck you're doing. Like no one.
You
No
told
one knows
those
what the fuck you're
people
doing.
to commit war crimes.
which is which sure, force is needed at times, these things are needed at times, but you're not communicating. You think you're playing, you know who Damon is, I'm playing chess not checkers ass motherfucker, and we all know I do not like I'm playing chess, you're playing checkers. Shut up. Shut up. If you're playing chess and I'm playing checkers, we're fundamentally not on the same page and neither of us are going to succeed. Stop saying that. You're not playing no chess. We need to get on the same page about the game we are playing. I'm not impressed that you're doing a different game. Sure, it's more strategic and more difficult, but it doesn't matter. That's like telling me that you're winning in a different league. I don't care if you're winning in a different league. This is my league. This is what we're doing. So I don't like heavyweights and welterweights and lightweights. Like it doesn't matter that you're better in that. I don't understand. No one knows what you're doing, Damon. No one knows what you're doing. You haven't communicated. Every time we get a scene with Rhaenyra, every time, go watch the episodes again. Every time we get a scene with the queen, she's always like, where's Damon? Like, where's Waldo? I don't know. He's absent. How can you be succeeding in a tactical war ready thing if no one even knows where you are? And if you're going to move like that, then at some point it's going to have to work pretty quickly, because to me, you're failing. Because if you're not communicating what you're doing, everyone else is operating only under one understanding, that they don't know where the fuck you are. So if people knew what you were doing or why you were doing it or how quickly you were doing it, they might move differently as well. To me, that's failure,
Well,
right?
okay, one of his visions is his ex-black wife asking, have you checked on our children?
which he hasn't done.
Uh, where are our girls?
Black woman
Literally.
coming to the
Damon,
rescue again. Black woman, man, I'm telling you.
If he's failing at anything, it's being a father to his black children. It was failure.
fathers in the home.
It's failures left and right. You know what Targaryens can't survive? The lack of fatherhood. Okay? The real story of House of the Dragon is the poor fathering. Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, no, I had to pop up because the guy that was talking before, though he had some valid points, in terms of Damon's character and the book, I had to pop up because he threw some dirt on Rhaenys's name. Okay, on my girl Rhaenys, pour one out for her again. Because I will say, I don't think Damon was necessarily right to say, let's join our dragons and let's go deal with Aemond right now. Because what you're not mentioning, sir, and I get it, you're Team Damon, I understand it. And I'll get to why he is absolutely failing. I'll throw some more reasons into that pot. But
Love this. Love this pot
he,
of Damon failing reasons. World
like
Watch
Rhaenys,
put a poll out.
exactly. Mo, I got you. But of course, Rhaenys refused to do that because he was trying to usurp the queen. He wasn't doing it with good intentions, right? He was saying, grab your dragon now. I'll hop on mine. Forget what the queen is saying. Let's do this now. Let's draw blood. Let's get this shit started. And not only was not the proper way to go about it, because as we've seen, these dragons are like releasing nuclear war on the people. She wanted to be mindful about it and also not do it under Rhaenyra's nose, right? Not do it behind her back. She didn't want to be secretive and weird about it. Now he's failing in Harrenhal because first and foremost, he's actually drinking the blood and guts that witch is given to him. Okay, he is off the lean. He is gone. He is done. He is
He's
screaming. He is
out
finished.
of
Okay,
here.
So he's over there, not in his right mind. Okay, kings and rulers are trying to come to him. She did read him for filth, though, when she said, Does it make you happy to know that your queen is struggling while you walk these wet, dirty halls, doing absolutely nothing?" Like, she's reading him for filth for sure, but he's failing because he's actually in there losing his mind. He's not on mission. Whether he's written differently in the books or not, we can only go off the show. I haven't read the books. I'm only watching Game of Thrones and House of Dragons. I'm eating what HBO is feeding me. I'm so sorry about it. George R. R. Martin
It's
taking way too long. He's
it's
taking
what
too
we
long.
watch. It's what we
Exactly. It's
watch
what we
on
watch,
TV.
not what we read. Exactly.
Correct.
But the truth of the matter is his depiction at this point, it is proving that his heart is not fully with her. Right? Like, he would be succeeding if he actually got in line, understood that she should be the queen, and was doing what it would take with his full heart to actually like help her and not hurt her every step that he takes, because deep down, and again, Alice called it out, he does feel that that crown and that throne is his. And so, as long as that's his perspective and his motivation, and he's off that bloody, weird, witch, lean potion, he's failing. I'm so sorry about. Listen, I
He's
like Damon as a character as well. Matt Smith can do very little wrong in my eyes. I get it, but he
he's
is he is not right
drunk
now.
off power. He's drunk off acid. Whoever made that point, great point. No, no shade to everyone who does drugs. Drugs are for grown-ups. Use them responsibly. But your man's is done out here. And Nap Escobar, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to, because I don't think you were necessarily shading Rhaenys, more so than like saying that Damon made a point. But hopefully you're digesting some of the things we said and maybe opening your eyes that like Damon might be failing in more ways than you may think. Maybe he's not failing overall to you yet, but I want to come back to you to give you a chance to respond. But go ahead, David.
Okay, so with her
Hold on,
points,
I want to let David speak real
of
quick.
course, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, number one, I just wanted to clarify that when I talk about talking about a character being my favorite or what's the name, it's rarely because of anything I'm actually doing or rooting for them on screen as much as I just think they're a well written character. And failures, I think, are actually to me a little bit more interesting than winners. But the point being with Damon, I agree. I do think he is failing. I think it's pretty clear he's failing, and I think the reasons why he's failing are pretty clear. I believe her name was just mentioned one big one, which is I just think again in general this show keeps on showing how a lot of it doesn't mean every time, but there are a lot of instances where men are specifically failing because they refuse to acknowledge that maybe there's a possibility that what the woman is saying has any veracity to it. But
Right.
then on top of that, there's this kind of ignoring or ignorance towards what common folk may need that I think you can look at two sides of both what's going on with his wife and what she's doing right, which is she's hired that I'm sorry, I'm bad with names on this show, but the young woman that's like was kind of like a whisperer, and
Mysteria, right?
yes,
Mysteria.
yes, and and she's lit. She once she heard what she had to say, there was a little bit of conflict there, but she was smart enough to know maybe this lady who has her ears to the actual streets is useful. Whereas Damon has been in Harrenhal and he's got people around him too that have their ears to the streets, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of my face! Dismissed, dismissed, dismissed." And because that's mainly because, as just kind of alluded to, that his one goal is power, and he is blinded by it. So I don't think Damon is a strategist. I think he thinks every answer is like a hammer to a nail. That's the way he's going to handle it, and that's why he's been failing. If he ever tried anything otherwise, he might be moving in a different direction. But that's the way he handles everything, and sometimes it works, but more times than not, it's been failing him.
Correct. Correct. Nap Escobar. Go ahead, Escobar.
All right, so this all goes back to. Okay, let's start with the shade on Rhaenys. I was not throwing shade at Rhaenys. All I simply suggested was he had the right strategy, and Rhaenys refused to implore it because they believed this war could be stopped diplomatically, which we've seen that's clearly not the case. And unfortunately, she lost her life for it.
True.
So again, no shade on Rhaenys. She,
Right.
he was like again, they're he's being portrayed as trying to grasp power, but maybe okay, say like that's what they're going with. but
Mhm.
he feels like he should be the rightful heir to the throne
Right.
because his brother was the king for how many years, and it was peaceful, and now there's no longer peace, and he feels like he should be on the screen adaptation. He feels like he should be the one on the throne. Why? He's the best fighter currently. He has one of the best dragons. He's a known conqueror, and he's a known battle commander.
True.
And he just knows the city. He grew up there. So why shouldn't it be him? So if that case, I still don't think he's failing. I still don't think that. And now Mysaria, the White Widow, she, like I said, she grew up in the city as well, and she knows what the common folk want, which they want to be safe, they want to be fed, and they just want to feel protected. And the Greens aren't doing too good of a job of that because one, they just paraded the head of a dragon through the city, and you could hear everyone say, "This is a this is an omen. This is an omen for the blacks. They will answer for this." And she's right because, like I said, the Targaryens are their seat of power is the dragon. Now you parade a headless dragon through the city, and everyone's gonna think, "All right, then they can be destroyed." Like dragons aren't immortal. Like I said, the one character said, "I thought they were gods." And that starts to open people's eyes because like you're bringing like bad juju, per se. Like
Correct.
this isn't good, and that's why they try to leave the city because they're scared. You parade a headless dragon. The other side, they're gonna respond with fire, and the last place you want to be is King's Landing when they attack, when they come for retribution. Now,
Exactly.
also, he's not, okay. Back to Harrenhal. He is not there. Okay, tripping, lean, drugs, whatever it is. Unfortunately, he's consuming. I don't know whatever it is she's feeding him, and he's
Doesn't
he's
sound doesn't sound super strategic or with
he's
a lot of
tweaking.
foresight to me.
He's tweaking. I will agree to that because
Okay.
he can't sleep. So you need something to help you sleep. And the maester's gone, so the next in line is her. So he's like, all right, she knows what she's doing, and he's sitting there having these hallucinations about um, his former wife, his mother, his current wife, and it's not looking good. It's not.
Mhm.
But hey, you got to work with what you got. You have to bring the River Lords to heal. You have to bring, and like I said, the best way to go about that in this time and how he's done it throughout his whole life, and it's not failed him yet. Cracking bloody skulls, and
I
he's
mean,
he's not failing. He's
there's
not failing to me. He's not.
okay. I mean, this sounds like a because you named a lot of his accolades, but what is he doing with them? Give me somebody in the room can give me some sort of comparison to when he got a whole bunch of stats and accolades and experience. And what are you doing with it, sir? But go ahead, Deuce Diamond.
Kirk
Yeah,
Cousins. He's Kirk Cousins.
he's Kirk Cousins.
What?
This is what we watch Wednesday. We are going to make a sports reference no matter what. It's going to happen. Thank you, Keith.
He's
Go
he's
ahead, Deuce
Dak he's
Diamond.
Dak
Yeah.
Prescott. Dak Prescott is more accurate, honestly, because what has Dak Prescott done besides
Okay, now you
nothing?
see, now you're going to start stuff now. Now you're going to start stuff in this what we watch chat.
I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and about my business. Go Birds.
Go Deuce Diamond.
I,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
I appreciate the sports reference. Like that part, yeah, that hits for me. I love that. But Damon is using actions over politics. That's why he's not failing. The whole point of him using his actions is you can see the reason why he's using it's the same thing that Jaceres is doing. He's trying to do action over politics.
Okay. Okay. Tej, can we get a working definition of failure, please? Are you hearing this?
I want to know too. Why do
Mhm.
y'all say it's a failure if that's what
Tej, are
if
you
that's what he's
hearing these
doing?
conversations we're having right now?
Yes, and I'm liking this dialogue.
You're
You're muted,
muted.
Mo.
Tej, thank you guys. Tej's voice is completely gone because apparently y'all have been playing the NCAA. Tej, you should tweet out what you feel about this failure conversation because I feel like this is crazy to me. But
I
I do
mean,
want
if you lost the way Tej lost, you probably lose your voice too.
I won. What are you talking
to cook. Um, my thing is okay. let's put a pin in the Damon thing, because y'all gonna make it my personal goal to convince y'all that Damon is currently failing. If he succeeds later, I think that's great. I'm Team Black. We want Team Black to win. Raise your hand if you want Team Black to win. Team Green is not doing what needs to be done. So I'm with you. I'm rooting for you, Damon. We were all rooting for you. Please, if you please tell me you understand that reference. But like, it's just not giving what needs to be gave. But let's put a pin in that. I want to quickly talk about the really exciting thing to me, which is the common folk. And Nap Escobar even like kind of touched on them a little bit. I want to kind of expound upon it. I really like this, the little moments that we get. And when I say little, I don't mean like in like a scale of importance. I just mean like they're shorter scenes, is what I should say. The shorter scenes with the common folk are super important to me because in the attempt to, gain kingdoms and powers and have your house and your name and stuff like that through war and famine and weapons and dragons and the gods, your common folk is who you have power over, right? And so if you can't get people to support you, then you don't have any power. And so I think I really, really like the way House of the Dragon has been showing the stories in just a quick, 4 or 5 episodes of the common folk and their relationships with Aegon versus Rhaenyra. And I love, I'm going to say the word, a little trigger word if you've ever been in Watch Space, juxtaposition, always hilarious. But I love the juxtaposition of those two, like, common folks for Team Black and Team Green, because it's actually like it's foreshadowing and it's showing the omen is there. Like it's kind of like it was very much said in the dialogue when they were dragging Maylisa's head through Team Green. It was like, you're not building any trust in your people, and the only ruler that I've seen even talk about the trust is Rhaenyra, which is why to me she's the most important. Because you, in your pursuit for power, Damon, in your pursuit for power, yes, violence and war and all this kind of stuff is important, but the trust that your people have for you and the alliances, and to get people, you have to be strategic and consider the common folk at all times. Who are you having power over otherwise? You can't just kill everybody. Then there's no production. There's no agriculture. There's no food for your dragons. There's no lands to protect. Like, so to me, I really, really like how they're showing the common folk and how the dissolution of the trust and the protection and the feeling of community is there, right? Because with Team Green, it started with the rat catchers, right? And then with Team Black, it's kind of it's dissipating, it's disseminating through like some of Damon, but like some of Rhaenyra. That Team Green said Rhaenyra did this with the kid, in the beheading, and it's just like, it's just it's the line where you need more people. We don't trust you. You need more people, and I really, really like that. So I see some hands up. Are those hands from your Team Black, or are these hands in general? Okay, I see some hands up. Let Jess speak. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, I think to your point about the power of the people, and we're gonna get off this point, but Damon is also failing because he refuses to recognize that, and you see how distant he is from that, and truly you see how distant they all are from that, right? Like this season begins, and whether it's King's Landing or Heron Hall, like like Kristen Cole's flub, or his misstep in parading the dragon head all across the land. You kind of see Team Black and Team Green forget what it's really all about, right? And I think it's interesting that Mysteria, I think it's Mysteria. Like she's the one that kind of has to like bring it back around for Rhaenyra to hear and understand that there can be power in some of this perspective, right? Like the king as well, right? Like killing and then hanging the rat catchers and leaving them there for days. And of course, Otto was furious about it because I think he also understands that it is a part of the sentiments of the people. And his decision to kill just all the rat catchers and leave them rotting in the city, it's also a bad omen, right? And I think as we get to the climax of this season, we're gonna kind of see and begin to understand that's probably where we're going to, that's where we're going to land, right? It's gonna be about sentiment. You see even the idea of propaganda being played with this season, which I think is
Yes.
very interesting, right? Like you parade the dragon head, but behind that dragon head is your king, like flambéed and rotisserie barbecue chicken in a box. But Christian Cole wants to, he wanted to give the air of a victory, but he misunderstood the sentiments of the people because again of the distance, right? In that castle, doing nasty things to Alicent and then failing up, he misread the sentiments of the people. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see going forward because Aemond, at the very least, seems smarter, much
Yeah,
more ruthless. I'm actually excited that he's at the head of Team Green right now because it feels like we're going to get like a formidable battle finally.
I
But I
agree.
do think your point about, yeah, it being about
The
propaganda
common folk
and the
and
power
stuff.
of the people and the common folk is going to be a very interesting one.
I'm so excited about it, and thank you. All very sound points. I think for me, Team Green, and I said this every episode of what we watch. This is what we watch. Follow what we watch. Film TV. Tap in and subscribe on YouTube, and join us for our film event, Kobe Day, August 24th, here in LA. But I say that to say Team Green has not been serious. I cannot stress this enough. Team Green has not been serious for 2.5 seconds. Even Aemond being the leader now with Vagar, that's the best the girls have done on Team Green. The girls have done nothing more than what Aemond and Vagar managed. And let me remind you that Aemond was frustrated because the strategy was not sound. They were not aligned and they were also not prepared for what Team Black did, which is why Meleys, who I believe is the fastest dragon, was able to damn near take down Vagar and Sunfire because y'all wasn't ready. So we got to really understand that Team Green got lucky. It's called luck. And shout out to luck. Preparedness will prepare you for a little bit better luck, which is why Sir Kristen Cole's getting all this damn fucking credit. Fuck him. But Team Green has not been serious. And so when we talk about the common folk and what they need, that's what I mean. Like, there's nobody is like, hey, a king is just a man. A king is just a man, baby. And you know why I know it's just a man? Because one of them is sitting down there creme brulee right now. He is a fried Pop-Tart, strawberry frosted Pop-Tart right now as we speak. That is your king. That's your man's. Okay? A king is just a man, honey. Until there's people that support you, your power is in the people. You got cooked. Literally. And Amon, what was the first thing? This is why I'm telling you, pay attention to the common folk story. What is the first thing Amon said when he got on that damn council? He said, and for goodness sake, please cut the rat catchers down. Please cut the rat catchers down. This is ridiculous. Guys, we can't move like this, guys. And that shows you. Aemon is already better equipped. Please, and I when I watched the scene, I told Tisha, I was like, hey, in this moment, we got that moment because that also shows you, it gives credence to the fact that Aegon, the way we feel about Aegon had been asked before. They asked Aegon at every council meeting off screen if they were going to take the rat catchers down. And Aegon said, no, leave them up there. Aemon was probably like, guys, it's one-eyed Aemond, right? I'm saying this right? It's Aemond, right? Yes. Please take the rat catchers down. We have to have the trust in our people, in our armies, in our production, in our agriculture, in our everything. The people have to trust you. So Aemond is who Daemon wishes he was. Now, Daemon may be the more powerful, more strategic, with more accolades, a la Kirk Cousins. Maybe so. But like, Aemond is the one that's actually executing, actually correcting other people's mistakes. That's real power. And that's sad for me to say because, I'm not Team Green, guys. I'm not Team Green. But I give him that. And again, he literally just burnt his own brother. So don't talk to me about being willing to crash skulls and kill people. He was willing to bring his brother to the grave over this. So Aemon seems war ready to me, finally. Because initially it was just Meleys, Vagar, Caraxes, Taraxes, Sunfire, and whoever else. It was just the 17 dragons that were ready to fight. Now Aemon willing to take a few risks. Rhaenys willing to take a few risks. R.I.P. Rhaenyra, I need you to step it up a bit, baby girl. I need you to step it up just a touch. just a touch. But I hear you. You're a little confused. No one trusts you. No one has confidence in you. I feel like you need to start, some heads need to start rolling. I don't know how y'all feel, but I feel like some heads need to start rolling. Rainier, I need you to really put your foot down, Rainier, because they keep playing in your face, and now you're confiding in your young son with your like inner thoughts as queen and your inner self-esteem issues and your inner anti-feminism calling out. Like, I get it. I need some heads to start rolling. And I'm excited to say that because of Corliss, who's gonna come up, and y'all keep telling me that. I hope y'all are right. I want Corliss to be right there in the hand. That's what we need. We deserve the Rhaenyra Corliss duo. We deserve those people in power. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't know if it does and how well it's gonna work out, strictly because of the way that that conversation that him and Bayla had. But maybe. Go ahead, Southern Elite.
Well, this whole episode, they're mirrored. Like, he would have treated her right. That's what he's always said. So, like, all these conversations, they mirror each other. Like, now we're actually, we tend to forget that Rhaenyra was not only mourning her father, her son, and her daughter at the same time. No
Yeah,
grace is given.
fair.
So when
I,
you see Rhaenyra trying to come around, that's why. Like, all of this is new for everybody,
mhm,
and
mhm.
they keep pretending like it's not. She had to
I like
remind her council.
I like that observation because that was one of the biggest bars of this episode, outside of Alicent getting absolutely cooked, which it gave me a feeling of endorphins. It did. My serotonin levels and my endorphin levels went up when Alicent was sitting there raging. But you could have put a Trent Reznor kind of like sound behind her at that moment, and it would have been so fire just seeing her at that table, just losing her mind. Sorry. Let me come back. Love to see Allison get cooked. What I was saying is that it's in those moments where I appreciate the observation that you're saying, because again, who really has the experience here? When Rhaenyra said, "Babes, please don't make this a gender conversation," and that's where men be messing up, babes. This is not a gender conversation. You don't know what you're doing either. And that's not because anyone of, whatever they were born with, whatever body parts, honey. You ain't been in war either. So how you gonna come to me talking about respectfully, da 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 da, da da da? Respectfully, you don't know what you're talking about either. You think that because you again have accolades or you have a penis, that you have any more experience or any more like strategy, or that you're more equipped to protect us. I am an actual dragon rider, sir. Do you have a dragon? Okay, then that's what I thought. So why are you doing all this talking? And that's why I really I thank you for reminding me of that, because that was such an important, again, the king on the team green side cooked, and the queen on the team black side, everybody being real disrespected, and his head should have rolled right there. And I appreciate it because Rhaenyra kind of made his head roll inadvertently by sending him to go do what he was doing. But I want it to be a little bit more. Like I need Rhaenyra to really set. There needs to be the word punitive comes to mind. I really need some punitive action taken. Okay, I need people to suffer when they try Rhaenyra, and maybe Corliss is the one to do it. Tej, what do you think? You've been super quiet. Talk to us. Get your voice ready to go, because I want to hear what you have to say about Rhaenyra.
That she's realizing that Jace is the star player of her team, and I think that's happening, and it's very exciting that she's seeing that because if she sent the old man away. We need to get rid of him because all he does is question her, and we need to put more people in positions that trust her as a queen A, but also will be willing to execute her vision.
We could barely hear, but I heard what she said. Go ahead. Who else wants to speak? Go ahead. KP was right. Come on up to the stage. Welcome. What we watch. What we watch. Normal. What is it called? Regular. Thank you. What we watch regular. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. KP, talk to me. What's going on? Unmute.
Yeah, I think Renera is she's playing too nice. She has to, you know,
I agree.
after the queen that never was passed away, or she didn't pass away. She went out like a soldier. She went out like a Targaryen should. Uh, I don't know if Renera's ready for that. I don't know if she's ready. I don't know if she's about that action. She's a good delegator. She could tell, she's like that, what's the guy Ford? He's like, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I can hire everyone. She needs to hire some people to get the job done. She got to change her council. They all bucking at the system. They don't really want to beat it. They're just there because her father was cool with the boys, and it's an all boys club. So she got to get a little bit of Allison in her. Pause. She got to get a little bit of Allison in her. Even though I don't like Allison, she has some edge. Renera don't have no edge. The most edge.
What edge does Allison have outside of edging Sir Kristen Cole? What are you talking about? What edge she got?
She actually is doing the foulness that Renera should be doing. She cursed.
What foul? What you talking
Yeah,
about?
she
Showing
actually
feet.
the feet.
Allison not doing nothing. Allison not about that life either.
But
She
Mm-mm.
she could,
lost
but she's
everything.
faking the funk. Renera got to be able to fake it till she makes it. And she never been in no action. She got a nice
She
car, but she never been on a highway before. She's still in the driver's seat. She got a driver manual. She don't know how to ride that dragon in action. So yeah, she gotta get out into the game. I love Renera. I love her demeanor. But when it comes to wartime, well, none of them been in war.
Yeah, she she
It's been,
she, she clamping up. She clamping
yeah,
up.
it's been peaceful for 100 years, so none of them got no war experience. So it's not just on her. Nobody been fighting. They all been fighting
Yeah.
in like the first episode of season 1. They was all looking at each other like, yeah, this is cool. Yeah, fake fighting. But when the action come, hopefully Rhaenyra got a good counsel around her, and her son
I'm
seems like
hoping
he's
so.
smart. He seems like he's thinking outside the box, and shout out to that.
Jace might be the saving grace because it ain't Damon. Sorry, you guys that love Damon so much.
Oh,
I don't
Damon is
understand
doing
you guys.
exactly what he wanted to do all along. Just like it.
Damon, y'all like Damon because y'all want to be able to do whatever y'all want, whenever y'all want to, with no authority, and y'all want to think y'all look good doing it. That's why y'all like Damon. That's why y'all like
And
Damon. Y'all like to
That's
run
what the
around like
king's
y'all
supposed to
pop,
do.
and y'all did one good thing 17 years ago, and you've had 17 good ideas since, and you're like, I should be respected for this. I've done good things before, and I've had great ideas, and no one respects me. I'm gonna get away from everything. I'm leaving, and I'm going to go take care of some things on my own terms and time. That's why y'all like Damon. That's why y'all like Damon. What we watch clip that because that's the only reason y'all like Damon, which is fine. But we about to make some stuff actually happen. Speaking of Dragon Riders, and while I say this, I'm gonna close out the space with everyone answering this question for me. because it's clear that what we watch is on the right side of history was Team Black, although there is no right or wrong side of history necessarily. We know how this ends and or how this begins with Game of Thrones. But I want y'all to think about a list of things that are required in power in this universe, considering the nuclear weapon of dragons, right? Is it brute force that you're going to lead with as a leader? Is it negotiations? Is it forming alliances? Is it calling for peace? Is it, strategizing and supporting in propaganda through news and whispering with your common folk? I just gave you 5. Give me your top 1 or 2 if you are Team Black or Team Green, and why it's that. Why is that your top 2? And if Team Green or Team Black is closer to like how you would run shit right now. As of right now, as a season 2 episode, are we on episode 5 finally? I think we're on episode 5. As of today, what is your next move as far as what's important to win this war, to get somebody to sit on the Iron Throne? Okay, but while you're thinking about that, I just want to celebrate the fact that Jace and Rhaenyra, okay, mother and son, had this beautiful moment where we talked about what about if they're not Targaryens, which followed the scene where Baela was like, I'm a Targaryen, honey, which is so cool. So we get this moment where it's like Driftmark. Corlys is like, hey, Driftmark. And she's like, ha, I'm cool off that. I'm cool off that. I'm a Targaryen, and Dad, like, please check my hair color, huns. And so then we get the moment with Rhaenyra and Jace where Jace is like, maybe people that aren't just of Targaryen blood have value. Wow, what a concept. And Rhaenyra was like, because y'all can't get no dragons to fuck with y'all. That is true. Y'all can't get any dragons to really trust you. These dragons don't trust you. They look at y'all and you damn near die. So maybe we need to start branching out. We need to open up this draft to more nations, more people, more houses, more bastards, right? And I was like, she's about to have a draft. That's cool. A Dragon Rider draft is dope. I'm in. Because I feel like a lot of people are going to get cooked, pun completely intended. But then some people are going to be like, have these like really powerful moments. I mean, even in like, for the lore for Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, it's really fun. But even outside of that, when you see like a big, majestic creature choose their rider, come on, that's fun no matter what universe we're in. I'm like, oh shit. Y'all into it. I'm going to throw out Avatar. I know y'all don't like that, but I don't care. Those scenes were my scenes. When they tied them little braids together, I was like, yeah, y'all connected. Yeah, come on. Everyone would want a dragon or like a flying, beautiful blue bird. Shout out James Cameron for Avatar and Zoe. So I just wanted to celebrate the Dragon Rider draft. I'm excited. I'm built different. I would definitely get a dragon. I mean, me and dragons, we've always been like this. But fire breathers, it's the same thing. All we do is spit fire. We're totally aligned. Targaryen or not, put me in the draft because I'm getting it. But go ahead, Tej. What's of the 5 things brute force or like what is important right now? The next step, and is Team Green or Team Black closer to it?
Well, I think that Team Black realizing that we got to get the other dragons in play is going to be huge, and the way that we're going to do that is to find Targaryen bastards. However, there is a danger in that because if people are only looking up to the Targaryens and their hold on power that they've had because they believe that only Targaryens could ride dragons, if you start to have a whole bunch of non-blonde, non-silver-headed uh, people riding dragons, now people might question the Targaryens as the only ones that can ride dragons, and that's very dangerous for every Targaryen on Team Black and Team Green. And I think that is a huge deal, knowing that we're watching the end of the Targaryen dynasty. People seeing that other people can ride dragons is not a good thing overall for the Targaryens, but it's a very good thing overall for Team Black in the short term. That's such an interesting dynamic.
You're muted.
Do you want me to go around the room and answer the question? Or you want to answer the question, Teach?
Wait, was
Strategizing
I muted
as
by
a
which one?
leader here. Yeah. No, you spoke the first time, but you didn't answer my question about the leads, how to lead. brute force, strategizing negotiations, forming alliances, getting the trust of the common folk, like ranking like how important the top two most important things right now is next steps, and is Team Green or Team Black closer to it? Okay, I'm gonna let Keith talk. Go ahead, Keith. What do you think?
So, um, me personally, um, I'm going to disagree slightly with what T said, because at the end of the day, even if they're bastards, they still have Targaryen blood in them, which qualifies them to ride a dragon. They still have that qualification to say like, hey, I could possibly, um, you know, help in the defense of Team Black. Um, with that being said, in terms of how it should go right now, you have to look up.
Hmm.
I would say I would take the diplomacy route, and I would say can take this view of the common folk, because Team Green had a 3-1 lead until they actually started killing rat catchers and hanging them in the middle of the streets. Uh, Eamon
Mm.
was absolutely right when he said like, "Hey, well, how about we cut down the fucking rat catchers?"
It
Because
was one of the first things he said when he finally got in
right,
power.
because he was aware and he understood that like, hey, having these people hung in the streets is not going to win us any favors with people we want to rally around us. So you could take the diplomatic route. Brute force makes sense if you're in a situation where both sides aren't equally matched when it comes to having the weapons of mass destruction, your WMDs. Like, you don't have the dragon power to fight Team Green, so you have to take another approach. You have to find the eggs. These eggs have to mature, hatch, and everything. Even if you do decide that, hey, we might be.
So let me ask you this, and I'm gonna go to the next person. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to respect everyone's time because I like what you just said. So you said diplomacy, this and that, because of Team Black, and we're Team Black. But you're saying the only reason that we can't go brute force is because you can't. So are you saying that Team Green should use brute force? Yes or no?
If I am Team Green and I have the advantage in brute force, then yes, you
Hmm.
absolutely take.
You're leading with that.
You are
You're leading
leading
with
with brute force because you
that. Okay.
have that advantage. If you have the majority of the weapons, you have the strongest dragon at as it stands right now, and you were able to show even the common folk, even if they decided like, hey, this is a bad omen to drag a dragon's head through the streets, you've already proven that your dragon is stronger than their dragon.
Whatever they got
Whatever
going
the
on.
hell they have going on, you already showed that you have the power. So if you are Team Green, you say, you know what? I'm going to ride this shit out. We're going to go ahead and burn everything
And
out
hit
to
him
the
again.
ground.
Okay. Okay. I respect that. I respect that. Jess, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think I want to take this opportunity to answer your question quickly and also remind everybody why Damon is failing again. Because the truth of the matter is, the fact that Rhaenyra, her best counsel has been from, a woman of whispers and her baby son, and not Damon. Like, clearly in this world, you do need the fire and the blood of the dragons. But then, in terms of what we were talking about with the sentiments of the people, you also need, like Mysteria said, the fact that Rhaenyra showed any semblance of mercy after Team Green burnt up her business. You know what I'm saying? Just flopped her whole situation near the end of the last season. It was Rhaenyra's mercy that got her the Council of Mysteria that we're seeing now pay dividends. And so I think you simply need both, but Damon is not there to be her right hand and the brute enforcer because he's too busy drinking blood and lean and being selfish in Harrenhal. And I'll just land my plane right there.
Beautifully landed. It was a great landing, pilot. Great landing. Yeah, Damon is failing. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. David, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if it's this world, the next one, the Lord of the Rings, whatever world you want to talk about. I feel like the things needed are the same. I feel like the model is still Tywin Lannister. I still think, as evil of a bastard that he is, I think strategy and forming alliances and the knowledge of how to do either one of those things simultaneously covers and umbrellas anything else basically you're going to do. When you know how to strategize correctly, you know when it's time to use brute force and you know when it's time to put that away. You know when it's time to when it comes to forming alliances, then you generally understand how people work. You understand how the community below you works, and how the community on the side of you works, and how those above you work. And you know how to move those pieces and everything. So, I mean, everybody has their weaknesses, but the point being that those are, to me, the two most important things, because everything else ultimately ends up falling under the umbrella of those two things. And as Jess so rightly pointed out, as it goes with the rest, you could go for almost anybody in this story. You can see where people are generally failing in one of those regards or the other, especially Damon, who really, again, only understands brute force, whether it's going immediately and taking action without thinking about having the children killed, not sending the right people to do the killing in the first place, or whether it's going now and then having these guys trying to use brute force to collect these guys and form an alliance, and then ultimately dispatching what ends up being a bunch of mass murderers and war criminals and everything stuff to do things that are ultimately going to go against the very thing you just had them do. So this is exactly, I think Damon makes a great demonstration of both why when you don't have these things they don't work, and why also they're so important.
Beautifully said. Because if we celebrate Damon succeeding one more time, when he literally employed the most incompetent people to complete a task, and then, to this day, it was never really confirmed what he said, but we know what he said to those rat catchers. And quite frankly, you failed. That was an ultimate failure. You had a goal, you employed people to make a goal, you created a plan B, and the plan B was much worse than you could have ever thought. I don't know why y'all giving Damon so much. I don't understand this. Damon wants to be good. He wants to be talented. He wants to be respected. But everybody wants that. Everybody wants millions and millions of dollars. Everybody wants to be loved and respected and liked. Everybody wants to be feared to an extent. But your shit has to work, baby boy, and it's not. And you need to go to therapy. What's therapy in this world? That's what he needs. Go sit down. Go have a drink and sit down and work through your women problems. This is what Damon is what you get when you don't make it right with the women in your life. And remember that. Go ahead, KP.
Damon is a literal motherfucker. So I just want to put that out there. It's just like in spades, just like a Monopoly, strategy is always number one. You got to play the right hand at the right time to get the required result. And Team Black.
So what is the right hand at this right time?
I think Team Black's strategy of thinking before acting, strategizing, plotting and planning, and getting the right people in place. If you go out like Aegon and just run into the game and just run it and making a move without thinking about the ramifications, you're gonna get burned. You're gonna look like Aegon looking like his daddy at half his age, all burnt up.
Aegon is crispy rice with a little salmon on top.
I'm just saying it was a beautiful sight, and I'll have to disagree. Vhagar isn't the best dragon. She's just the biggest because she's always sneaky. She always coming from behind a building, from behind a cloud. She don't want that action either. She old and tired.
Let me tell you something. You know who Vhagar is? I play video games. I do not play sports video games. Vagar is the motherfucker that be camping. So sure, you got some kills, and you got your claymore set up so that no one else can see you, and you're sniping everybody. Great job, great job. But once we find you, once we get a hold of you, we setting up all the traps at all your little camping spots. All right, we're throwing them grenades up at you. Vagar is just a lucky sniper camper, girl. Although that's not her fault. She's not the one making the calls. It's her dragon rider. So I'm looking at you, Eamon. You fake as hell. Fake. Fake. But that's who Vagar is. Like, thank you for bringing that up, KP. She's really a lucky girl. She's a lucky girl that is camping out. And you don't really want that. You're not really about that action. You sitting up there with a sniper on your belly, getting your shots off. We run around with the semi-automatics, the rifles, the big submachines. Like we're running around really about that action. So I'm excited for her to get exposed because she got a lot of holes in her wings too. She got a lot of scars.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
KP.
and lastly, yeah, Vagar's not about that action because a hot take, Aegon brashness saved Vagar from being killed by Malik. I think that. I think if he didn't come and interfere, Vagar's for the birds, literally. But yeah, I love a learned woman. So shout out to Renee for reading books. Like she she can read some books, some scrolls. She's a scroll reader and she's strategizing. So yeah, man, shout out to Team Black. I'm down with Rhaenyra and her sons. And shout out to Jace for having self-actualization, talk about the bastards, because he is one. He is a bastard, Ronald the Dragon.
He is.
So he said, let's go get more of me. He's selfish. Let's go get more of who I am, because I'm about that action.
Cause y'all not the dragons don't really fuck with y'all like that. Clearly the Are we back? Okay. We're gonna wrap this up because it looks like is everyone here? Can I get some claps or
I
okay,
thought
cool.
I thought I got cooked by the server, but it was all of them.
Okay, cool. Southern Coastal Elite, go ahead.
All right. Just on the book point, I just want to point to the fact that they said that Aemon and Aegon went into battle together. So that's how you have to take some of the book as he fried that motherfucker. Right now, you got to get the most dragons.
Okay. So that's your strategies, the dragons.
You got to get the most dragons. You also have to get the people that are in your place to react to the small folk in that place.
They gotta know the pulse of the small
We
folk.
saw the moldy lemons. Ain't got no chickens.
It's true. Very true.
So what we doing here?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Let her whisper.
Nap Escobar, what's your answer?
My answer is power and alliances.
Okay.
Why? Because if like you watch, even in Game of Thrones, the power of the three dragons that Daenerys brought from Essos, and then she made alliances with the North, and that's how she eventually won the Seven Kingdoms. Which eventually she lost because she died, even though it's not canon because it didn't happen in the books. But that's neither here or there.
No, it's
But
both here and it's both there. That was bullshit.
but
That was bullshit. But yes, go ahead.
I would, but with Jace bringing up that the Targaryen like bloodline has been thinned by them marrying off, which eventually will allow like other like non-Targaryens to ride dragons. That was a great point, and which further proves my point of power, because hey, we just lost our fastest dragon and our largest one. Let's Vermithor is below Dragonstone, and we know people with Targaryen bloodlines that can possibly claim him. So let's try
Yeah.
that.
Let's turn Vermithor up.
Yeah,
Yes.
which was power. And then with Aemond, he in the books it was actually Allison who said let's cut down the rat catchers, but that's also neither here or there. Anyway, but Aemond in season one he talked about I'm the one who studies the histories and philosophies. I'm the one who trains with the sword. Because he knows like he's better fit to be king than Aegon, and also he displays his power by claiming the largest dragon, and with the alliances of going through the crown lands and bringing all the other houses to fly their banners, because that's how you win. That's how you win a war with your strength and your strategic alliances, and
Okay.
that's shown in this show and in Game of Thrones.
I respect it. Strength, power, strategic alliances. Okay. That's good. That's good. Tej, go ahead.
I think
Tej. Tej. Am I still audible?
You're good.
Tej, where'd you go? Tej, unmute. Okay. We'll give you a little bit of time. What's going on, boss? Okay. All right. Well, I think Tej. Okay, he's gonna try to come back in. Okay. Good deal. I like everyone's answers. If you wanna tweet and respond to the question, since some of you did not come up, please don't be shy next time. Again, this is not a podcast. No shade, no tea. You are not just here to listen to me talk. We are here to have a community discussion. We're here to chat. I want to hear your perspectives. I'm really just here to, tell you when you're wrong, tell you when you're right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm here to just facilitate the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all watching the same show, and we have these exciting, different interpretations and theories and hopes and dreams. And that's what We Watch is all about, the community and watching and enjoying film and television, also creating it, also celebrating and being inspired by it. So thank you for joining What We Watch Wednesday. Tej, are you back? Talk to me.
I'm back. Sorry, I couldn't hear after I was talking. What am I saying?
I don't know what you were saying. You were answering my question.
Oh, I just think that we should. Which one is the one that's still alive, Luce or Jace? Jace, right?
Jace.
We should listen to Jace. He can be a diplomat. He's got a dragon, so he's not scared of nobody. And I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. Even though, if our goal is to win the war, he's right. But if our goal is to keep the Targaryens in power for hundreds of years, then everybody's wrong. Because once we let bastards and anybody else on dragons, there's no more Targaryen elitism. There's no People are not going to look at them like that. I mean, the guy said, "I thought dragons were gods." Seeing a dead dragon in the street is going to change the way people think about dragons, which is going to change the way that people think about the people that ride the dragon. So things are not looking good for the Targaryens as a whole. But I think Team Black can win this war if they listen to the young king. he knows what he's doing.
You know what? You're not wrong. Well, to me, you're not wrong, but I think the other part of it is like if if your point is right, then they've been taking L's this whole time. So there's no reason to be on Team Black or Team Green side, which to me there is a reason to be on someone's side. And I do think that there is a universe in which the Targaryens do survive this war. Clearly, we know they don't. But let's say we didn't see Game of Thrones. I feel like we would have the hope that one of the teams would win, and we could see like foresee and like simulate the dynasty under one of them or whatever, and then see peace. But you know, Jace did make that comment. I think that was another quote that really stood out in this episode for me when Jace was like, "Are you worried about a dragon, you know, lands away or whatever he said, or are you worried about my dragon here right now?" And I think that was important because it showed you two things. It showed you one, first, that they try and Jace, that they're not respecting the young king, as you said. That's the first thing. Because I'm sitting here with a dragon in your face, and you talking about dragons elsewhere. So you're disrespecting me. You think I won't blow this entire shit up. That's what you think. You think I won't fire this whole bridge right on down with my baby. And then secondly, what you're not realizing is that my diplomacy, what do they say? You always want to send either a woman or just someone like that's soft on the eyes, or someone with a nice voice, or someone to black, or even a younger bastard Targaryen, right? Or even a younger, not full Targaryen, so that these ideas and this, you don't always want to use brute force and power and strength all the time to get people to be on your side. Sometimes you need a super convincing guy, he's just a guy, and he's like, hey, let's work some stuff out. You wanna you want to do some things here? I think, hey, here's my thing. I think historically, I've read a couple books, I've seen a couple things. Geographically, this makes sense for you. Like, sometimes it just takes a conversation, right? The conversation, the persuasion, the thinking ahead just a little bit if you don't want to use brute force. And then it's also letting people know that, like, please don't make me choose violence because I can. I came up to you letting you know not to fuck with me. I didn't come over here without my dragon. I came here on a dragon. I don't see nowhere you have dragons. So don't test me. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Okay, is what Jay said. That's what Jay said. So I like this. And Jace has good taste in women, as I've said in the first few episodes. Jace has great taste in women. So shout out to Jace. Go ahead, Teach.
I think that the introduction of other dragon riders and the introduction of Alan into the actual house as opposed to being a bastard on the outside is really about to make things interesting because nothing guarantees that these people will stay allied with Team Black after they get what they want. For example, those bastards can be put on dragons, they can be paired with a dragon, but it doesn't mean that Team Green can't get them to switch loyalties and switch sides. And Alan has a reason to be salty with his father. And so, what happens if Alan is now put on the chessboard, but also now wants to trade and be on Team Green now that he's known and in the game? You don't know that. We don't know the loyalty of these people. We don't know what these people are thinking. We've already seen a Targaryen bastard in the season claim to be a Targaryen bastard, and then as soon as Team Green walked in there, what did he do? He swore obeisance to Team Green to protect his own skin. So that's going to be an interesting mixture of people's allegiances and what they actually want if we put more people on the board. And I'm very excited for that.
I agree. I agree. That is what we watch Wednesday. I said this space was going to be 30 minutes. You guys made me liars, and I love that for us. I love chit chatting with you, and thank you so much for watching House of the Dragon and joining us. We will have the bear chat. We will have the boys chat. We will have a severance chat, as I said last week. Again, thanks for joining What We Watch Wednesday. Tap in whatwewatch.net/events and get your tickets to our show. It's basically this, but in real life. And it's so nice. Bye.